Unfortunately, last night was not a bad dream. It was not a nightmare for Manchester United fans. We all witnessed what we witnessed, and what we witnessed was Manchester United going out in the second round of the Carabao Cup to League Two side Grimsby. As you all know, I typically come onto this channel after Manchester United games, win, lose, or draw, and we dissect the good and we dissect the bad. We analyze what went right for Manchester United and we analyze what went wrong for Manchester United. The truth of the matter is, I simply cannot bring myself to rewatch that game. I cannot bring myself to rewatch the horrific 90 minutes of football that Manchester United Football Club put on display last night. For me, the most interesting part of what happened last night was Ruben Amorim's press conference. He said a lot, and even though a lot of what he said was repeated in the interviews that he gave, I think his words were very loud. So instead of analyzing the match, I want to analyze exactly what Ruben Amorim said and my personal opinion on what I think he means by what he said. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your espresso, and let's get in to Ruben Amorim's post-match conference quotes. Ruben Amorim to Sky Sports said, "When you lose but see something new, it's different. When you see something like today, it's hard to talk about. I just want to say I'm really sorry for the fans. The support they gave me, the support that with all the support, they helped the team. I have nothing to say. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to the fans." Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim speaking to Sky Sports on whether his side are making the same mistakes from last season. "I think that this is the problem. When you lose but see something new, it's different. When you see something like today, it's hard to talk about, and I just want to say I'm really sorry for the fans. The support they gave me, the support that with all the support they helped the team, I have nothing to say. I'm really sorry." Now, just really quickly, for me, he is very much speaking in past tense. I want to thank the fans for all the support they gave me, essentially even when we were terrible. Even when we were losing games, I want to thank the fans for all the support that they gave me. He also said one team can win against any group of players. And in my opinion, he's insinuating that a League Two side played more collectively together as a unit than the Manchester United team did in that match. And you can say it's down to the manager, and I wouldn't disagree. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, whether you are a fan of Ruben Amorim or you are not, whether you are Ruben Amorim in or out, whatever that discussion may be, I think it's silly, but it is what it is. You cannot dispute the fact that Ruben Amorim's record since he has joined Manchester United has not been good enough. You simply can't. I wanted this to work for Ruben Amorim at Manchester United, but the reality is it's not working. But again, I have to echo my thoughts on yesterday after sitting on the defeat, after reading these quotes, after thinking about the past few years at Manchester United. It's another embarrassing performance, another embarrassing loss where the conversation is strictly on the manager. And you can tell me, Gabe, you know what? It's simply unacceptable. You cannot have a manager with this win rate at Manchester United and expect him to continue. And I couldn't agree more. Whatever happens over this international break, if Ruben Amorim decides to leave, or if the board decide that he is no longer fit for purpose, I don't think anyone can argue if they decide to move on. If Ruben Amorim decides, you know what, this job isn't for me, I need to move on. I don't think anyone can argue. I just think it's laughable, the think pieces I'm reading all over social media about how the manager is letting the players down, about how the manager is the reason that United can't go and, with all due respect to Grimsby, be a League Two side. It's as simple as that. Because the reality is, you watching this video or me, we should be able, without a UEFA Pro license, to sit on that touchline, put out an 11, and have them be good enough, strictly based on the quality of the football that they have, to go and win a game 3-4, 5-0. That's just the reality of the situation. Is the manager to blame? Absolutely. But you cannot tell me that the players are not as much as a culprit in this situation as the manager, because I'm simply not having it. Football has always been a player's game, and it will always be a player's game. Let's get back to some more quotes. Ruben Amorim on how he can solve the problems. And this quote for me was the loudest one. I think they gave the response on the pitch today, so I don't need to talk about that. We have a game at the weekend, then we have 2 weeks, and we will solve things out. On the goalkeeping issue, with all due respect, when you lose to a fourth division team, it's not the goalkeeper. It's everything. It's the environment. It's the way we face the competition. This was the most important quote for me in the entire presser. We know that we are in the moment. Everything, people will pay attention to everything. It's going to be massive, every detail. We showed a performance today, so my players spoke for me really loud. We were completely lost. Ruben Amorim saying his players spoke for him completely loud. To me, that means they're not maybe they're not as about it as, we think they should be, playing for the club, playing for Manchester United, playing for a club that you and I would do anything to wear that shirt for one day and play at Old Trafford. Because again, I must say, they should not take a brilliant system, the word that everyone loves to use, because everyone, wants to talk about analysis nowadays, and we've completely gone away from what's actually important, which is the footballers on the pitch. They spoke loudly. The players spoke loudly with their performance, and I completely agree. I think what we saw yesterday was embarrassing from the players on the pitch. I think when you see players losing the ball, flailing their arms away and yelling at each other, and that's, if you've played football at any competitive level, you know that happens. But to me, they didn't seem up for it yesterday. To me, they seemed like they couldn't be asked. And that's not me. Again, I think a lot of people interpreted that quote as Ruben Amorim is saying, my players threw me under the bus. I don't necessarily think it's my players threw me under the bus. For me, the way I see it is, I don't know if a lot of these players have the minerals to play for a club like Manchester United, because he's right. Every single thing right now for Manchester United is being scrutinized. And we spoke about it time and time again. Every pass, every tackle, every duel, every shot, every cross, every word that these players say before and after matches, everything is being scrutinized by the media, because when you talk about Manchester United, you get clicks, you get views. The game is the game. For me, it's about just having that pride. Going to the pitch, whether it's at a League Two side or whether you're playing at Old Trafford against Manchester City or Liverpool or whoever, you need to go into every game as a Manchester United player with the pride of wearing that shirt. And I know it's so cliche and boring, but that's the reality. That's the reality of the situation. And the problem is, in my opinion, that has been missing for a very long time. And I would rather this than him come out in the press conference and say, we're going to fix things, or because no one wants to hear that anymore. Because the problem is, we've been hearing that since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. I repeat, David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Ragnick, Eric Ten Hag. I am sick and tired of hearing the same old story. It's exhausting. So Ruben Amorim coming out and saying, you know what, my player spoke really loudly. Good. Enough of protecting these guys. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. Let's get back to the quotes. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim speaking to Sky Sports. In the end, it doesn't matter if we recover or not. It's the signs the team gave. It's the signs the team gave during the game. The beginning of the game, I think the best team won. The only team that was on the pitch. The best players lose because one team can win against any group of players. And I think the team and the players spoke really loud today. So that's it. We lost. The best team won. On what he means by that, I think it's really clear what they spoke. So let's move on from this day. And I think it was clear for everybody what happened today. The way we start the game without any intensity, all the idea of the pressure, we were completely lost. And I think that's why they spoke really loud. Clear as day for me. Clear as day for me. He thinks that's why they spoke really loud. No press, no intensity, no real urgency to go and win that game. No real urgency to go and put the ball in the back of the net 3-4 times. And again, I agree. There are flaws in this system. The lack of chances that Manchester United create, it is not just a player issue as well. Like, this is these two things go hand in hand. The fact that we can't consistently create chances is not all on the players. It's not. Ruben Amorim's system right now is not working. When you're playing, and we've analyzed Ruben Amorim's system. We've spoken about how the wide, they essentially give up central progression. They get the ball out wide. They want to go vertical. They want to be direct, win first and second balls, and move the ball up the pitch. Again, yesterday, Patrick Dordogu getting isolated 1v1. There are issues. This is not me making a video saying that Ruben Amorim is completely faultless, because he has to take responsibility in this mess, because this is also now becoming and has become his mess. But you cannot tell me that it is just the manager, because for how long are we going to have this conversation? Do Manchester United only sign bad managers? Do Manchester United only sign managers that can't hang at the top level? Again, no disrespect to Grimsby, because they were the better team and they fully deserved to leave that game with the win. They were unlucky to get to penalties. They should have won in the 90. But the group of players that you have on the pitch should have enough about them to go onto that pitch 3-4-3, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 5-2-3, 4-1-2-1-2, 4-triple. I don't care what it is. You should have enough about you to put on that shirt and go and get a result. Another thing I wanna quickly touch on before I end this video is the bad optics that Ruben Amorim was not even watching the penalties. You're the manager of Manchester United, one of the best clubs, one of the biggest clubs, not the best right now, one of the biggest clubs in the world. How bad we've been, it doesn't matter. One of the biggest clubs in the world, bar none. You've just seen your team put on an absolute disgusting performance in the second round of the Carabao Cup. Genuinely, who cares about the penalty shootout? It doesn't, like Ruben said, it doesn't matter. The penalties don't matter. If we would have stole a win against Grimsby, do you feel better today as a Manchester United fan? Because I don't. Because what matters is the football. And sure, you can say it's important, you want to win trophies, blah, blah, blah. You think we're going to win trophies with playing the football we play right now? It's such an easy talking point to say, oh, it looks bad. The manager doesn't even want to watch the players take penalties. How do the players feel? Are these players, do they need to have their hand held if you as a professional footballer can't step out onto that pitch and take a penalty because your manager isn't watching, and that's putting you low on confidence, I think that says more about you as a footballer than it says about anybody else. Then it says about the manager, then it says about the fans. You should have the pride in the work you do, and you should be able to step up and take a penalty. Whether you score or whether you miss is a different question, because like I've said before, the best players in the world miss penalties. I don't care about that. But if you're telling me that players that play for Manchester United Football Club need their manager to stand on the touchline and watch, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. Anyways, that is it for this one. I appreciate everyone who's been watching, who's been commenting. I really appreciate all the support. It's been great having some conversations with you guys in the comments. And now we look to Burnley. And after Burnley is the international break, and perhaps we're discussing a different manager at Manchester United. Who knows? Hope you all have a great rest of your day. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. That is it for this one. Until next time, peace.